What's going on? We're back. It's the check-in. Your boy Sikes. We got Scrilla in the building.
You don't
We
know?
got KingsBob.
B.O.B.
B.O.B. Best of the best. Don't forget it. Yeah, we know.
Don't
And
forget it.
We have a special guest. We're gonna let her introduce herself.
Nikki so good.
Nikki Goodas. There ya. Yo,
Let's just remix it.
yo, let's start.
Real quick.
I wanted to speak on when I guess we could say, okay, I want to speak on when outside forces are killing and murdering us as Black people. We bring up, what about Black on Black violence? What do you guys think about that?
Okay, can I start?
Yeah. I know it's a general way I put it, but I just want to see where it goes first.
Okay, so first of all, like, I hate that because it's like, I've never heard that in any other context. Meaning, like, I've never heard white on white crime or like Hispanic on Hispanic crime. So like, why is Black on Black crime even a thing, right? If you like, when you think about crimes that are committed, they're mostly committed like between the same race. So like, white people kill mostly white people.
Yep.
Kill mostly Black people. Like, that's how it goes. You kill within your like your community or your surroundings, the people that you're around, right? So the fact that they coined the term Black on Black crime, it is an issue. Yes, it's definitely something that we need to deal with within our communities. But I feel like, what's the purpose of coining this term? It's more like propaganda or like race baiting or those purposes.
100%. And I totally agree with the whole propaganda thing, because at the end of the day, when you bring up a term like Black Lives Matter, people want to find a way to delegitimize it, right? So then you come with All Lives Matter, right? To delegitimize Black Lives Matter. Or you come up with, Black on Black crime, right? To make Black Lives Matter seems less important than it actually is, right? That's basically what the powers that be is doing. And the whole Black on Black crime thing, I think like a lot of issues within like the Black community, you can't look at it as a whole totality thing. There isn't like a one solution fix all type thing. There isn't, you have to concentrate on certain aspects and certain things and take care of it, right? When it comes to Black Lives Matter, you're saying this essentially because the people who are there to protect and serve aren't essentially protecting and serving everybody, right? At the end of the day, this is what you get paid for. This is what you're trained to do. And this is what you should be doing, right? So don't reverse it to individuals who essentially aren't hired to do what you're supposed to do and in protecting and serving. Right?
Exactly.
So I think that's my
So, okay, I'm gonna touch on it. So I would say, similar to what Kingsley said, is that you're paying somebody, this is their job to protect and serve. So they are part of the bigger justice system. They're supposed to catch the bad people, right? Whereas maybe a Black on Black crime, the person that may have killed somebody else, that person may be a criminal himself. So that is, we shouldn't have cop expectations. You should have criminal expectations on cops. Like, you know, the fact that a criminal is a criminal as to why he's doing what he's doing, whereas a cop is supposed to be a role model, respected person of the community. Like, people see police and they either get shook or they give them a high five. Or kids, you know, I see it all the time. Kids always want to become a police officer when they grow up. So there is that aspect of it, for sure. But to play the devil's advocate on the other side of the Black on Black crime, somebody will say that, you know what, my child died in the hands of somebody that's like me in my own community, as to why they're upset. I feel with the so you have that aspect of it, and they are valid. Like, that feeling is valid. Like, if you did lose somebody to gun violence, it is a valid feeling, because you could imagine if it's like your kid went to the park and play and they're caught in the crossfire and your child dies, and that should deserve as much attention as somebody dying in the hands of the police, because that person never deserved to die. Like, we see it happen where a kid is with his headphones is running through crossfire. that's just to play devil's advocate. But I feel like with those things, there are internal battles, right? There's external battles as a community, and there are internal
Yes.
battles. And I feel like people will say that, but we also have to understand those are like our internal battles as Black people that we have as an issue, that it shouldn't be young people dying at the hands of gun violence. That should never happen. However, as an external, we should, people that are role models, people that we look up to, people that we have respect for, people that we are on our payroll, that we pay, shouldn't be also killing or not serving the justice properly. Like that person that may have been doing something wrong, let the courts deal with it, because that's the justice system. Let quote unquote justice be served. But we already know that these communities tend to be over policed, right?
So just to add on to that, like, okay, sorry. How I'm gonna start it is, when I look at it, like this is one of my pet peeves when I hear, yo, but I mean, Black people are killing. When I look at it, okay, for instance, as Nikki was saying, who kills the most Europeans? Europeans. Who kills the most Asians? Asians. Like when we look at, if we're speaking like in terms of communities usually kill each other. It's just ours is televised because they're gonna put like, I feel like, as you were saying before too, to agree with everybody, this propaganda, because like you hear of a Black man killing a Black man, it's going on the news. Did you hear about the assassination that happened in Markham? Asian guy opened his door, get his head blown off.
No.
Okay, and that's my point. So we're not gonna hear about this stuff because they're not gonna put it on the news like that.
Because certain communities are protected, quote unquote, right?
Okay then, but if it's Black people, you would hear it on the news, like CP24 would be there right after a shooting just happened 3 seconds ago. We have the guy running right now. Would you like to give an interview, sir? Oh, no. Like they're there. So I feel like we always get put into a spotlight, and we, as you were saying before, there, we have our internal and external mixed up. Mm-hmm. So we have a white officer that killed a Black man, for instance, like speaking on George Floyd, using it as an example, we have a white officer kneeling on a Black man's neck. We have 2 other white officers kneeling on his back and his legs. We have an Asian officer stopping everybody from coming in. It's not about race. This is about the police doing it, okay? So, but from the surface, we see a white man on a Black man's neck. That's all we see. Mm-hmm. So we see the evidence there. He obviously killed the man. Like once I seen like pee rolling down the road, I'm like, yo, he's gone, you know? Like this is too long. And a couple days later, I see something about Black on Black violence in response to the man dying. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, firstly, where does this correspond? If you were at home and something happens at the house and something similar outside happens, you're not gonna start, yo, at my house, you're gonna keep it in your house. Do you know what I mean? So every other community does this. They keep it in-house, except for us, because we've been told we're supposed to speak out against Black on Black violence. And Black on Black violence is the same as an Asian, Oriental Asian, South Asian, police officer, some random, like, I don't even want to say Karen, some random person saying, like, following you down the street, saying you don't live in the neighborhood, shoot it. Like, we categorize everything together as, like, us dying is normal in all aspects. And to be honest, like, when I think about it, I can't even say that us as Black people or Africans, African Americans, we kill each other the most, because we've died at the hands of a lot of other people, Arabs, Caucasians, let's say. Like, we've died at the hands of a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I know we're the most dying, but we don't know who's killing us the most. But we're gonna say Black on Black violence to everything that happens. Do you know what I mean? I feel like.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I just feel like, to touch on your point, I think like the other side of the Black on Black violence is that saying that there are people that feel like, okay, for example, we need more police officers because in my community, there's another young boy getting shot and killed. So there is that demand. There is an outcry from the community when they feel like there isn't enough police when they come back from work and they have to run away, or they don't feel safe coming back from work at late nights or whatever it may be. So you do feel that response.
It's true.
So I see that part, and that part is there. I think it's just that we also forget that somebody's employed to do a job, and let justice be served. Let the courts take care of it, because it's a whole process, right? Like, and I'm just saying quote unquote the courts, because it just doesn't start from, it shouldn't stop there. Like, the police officer is not the one that has to serve justice.
It's definitely not.
Oh, right.
And well, okay, so just to be like, all right, I'm gonna be devil's advocate now too, because okay, like for instance, we're gonna say, like, we'll use your example of let's say a mother whose son died because of this black on black violence, and like she's speaking out about it, and she's gonna compare it to another thing, but also we have to remember, in certain communities, the same woman that's crying about her son dying is scared to call the police. She's been intimidated a lot by police. Her son's probably been harassed by police, or mistreated by police. And in a lot of areas, this is the norm, right? Like, people get, for instance, we've been pulled over and pulled out the car, or like harassed by police. You know what I mean? So it's like
nightmares.
When you go through these things as a young black male or female, as you get older, you kind of look at it like, okay, I can't really call them unless it's like actually life and death. Like, I can't really call them because they might show up and I might be in problem. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's a very big, I won't even say there's a disconnect. I was gonna say there's a disconnect between the black community and police, but there was never a connect in the first place. So because of that, like, we look at it like, yo, they're supposed to protect and serve, but we also have to remember, laws are made, and a lot of them are made to keep us oppressed, and we're dealing with law enforcement.
Exactly.
It's the simplest way I could put it.
Yep.
Nicole, you want to say something?
No, that was a big fact right there. That's exactly what it is. Law enforcement. Like, think about when it was legal, like it was lawful for, like, we were not considered humans. Like, that was law, right? We couldn't own anything. That was law. So when the system, or like the legislation, it doesn't change to reflect freedom and things of that nature, and then you have law enforcement, which is enforcing that law, like, people are going to be oppressed and like victimized at the hands of the law and the law enforcement.
Right. And for myself, again, I'm no expert, right? But from the most I know is Black Lives Matter, and black on black violence is not a response to Black Lives Matters, right?
Yeah.
It's not a response. You can't say Black Lives Matter. Well, how about black on black crime then?
It's
right?
such a deflection. I hate it. Like, it's like, as soon as someone says all lives matter, or not all police are bad, it's the same thing. Black on black crimes. It's like such a deflection from the actual topic at hand.
Absolutely.
I feel like people get offended. Like, it feels like somebody's taking offense to, like, if I'm to say, okay, this guy just died. Black lives matter. We need rights, right? All lives matter. Like, I don't feel all lives matter. That's just like, this is my opinion. All lives don't matter because Black lives don't matter. So for you to say, tell me all lives matter, that means you're not including us. Like, you're intentionally not including us.
No, but you're saying that you don't see why people take offense to. Imagine your dad's a big sergeant in the station. Why wouldn't you be offended by that, right? Because you've been in a position to see that, you know what, your dad comes home as a hero. Like, this is your role model. This is your superhero. Your uncle is the chief. Like, that's why people are offended, because not only because when it hits close to home, of course it's gonna hate you. But as an individual, we also have to look at our faults. Like, and I'm just saying that as human beings, like, there are times that you have to look at your faults at maybe, you know what, maybe we didn't handle that situation the best. Maybe me going inside there broke up the family. Maybe the mother called me because, you know what, just to let the boy know that, you know what, these are the consequences of if you don't follow the rules. And my son ended up being arrested. I didn't even know they were going to take it that far. So that idea of being offended, like, I understand that. And it should offend you, because this is like life and death. This is somebody's life that people are losing, right? It's not the fact that a human being is dying and that human being didn't even get a chance, like a quote unquote day in court, to even say their side of the story is even sad, because that nobody deserves to die that way, especially if we're in a place where it says innocent until proven guilty, right? I know the autopsy said that he was under drugs. With George Floyd, he was under drugs and so forth, but let the courts, quote unquote, courts deal with that. But that doesn't happen, right? So I'm not saying that you're wrong for saying that, like, but people are offended because now you're starting to see that the people that
sorry, I just want to correct you because I wasn't saying the Black Lives Matter people are offended. I'm saying
no, I know
so
just people that
all
say
lives matter.
Yeah, because I said they're in a place of benefit, right? Like they should like because it's like that officer or that person is like their superhero, like. There's that idea, but back to what we're saying is that from what I knew when I was a young person growing up in a marginalized community was that there are more people to put me in jail than keep me out. Mm-hmm. So I knew that. So I knew how to navigate that. But not everybody understands that. So you may have it. You have the social worker. You may have a couple teachers, but those people, and maybe depends if you're lucky enough to have a 2-parent household or one parent, or you may have a 1-parent household, right? And even lucky is not even the word. Maybe that 2-parent household is not functional, right? So you have it where these are the people that are maybe trying to keep you out of jail, but everybody else is putting you in jail. Like they're paying people everything else, every single step that you take, the way you talk, the way you act, the way you dress, the neighborhood that you come from, why you walking here in the nighttime, why you taking this shortcut. Like there's so many different layers that sometimes it's even sad because people are not even aware. And these things aren't intentional, whereas at times I feel with our community, we don't even know because we're non-intentional that some of our kids get caught in the quote-unquote trap because there are those things to set those kids up and they never knew what they were walking into. They never knew the severity of the situation. Because I can tell you when people play pranks in the hood versus playing pranks somewhere else, trust me, the hood can get you arrested very fast.
Or killed.
Or killed. Yeah, worst case scenario, killed, true. Right?
And then the thing about it too, it's like two things can be true at the same time, but what are you going to focus on? You know what I mean? So like, even with Black Lives Matter, it's like, or even with the police, it's like, yeah, there are good police and yeah, there are bad police killing people. Are we going to focus on the good police or are we going to put our focus right now on the bad police killing people? What are we going to focus on?
What are the good police going to focus on?
That's my issue.
Are they going to focus on protecting the entire system, which is clearly broken? Or are you going to focus on?
But you know, you play on the team. You can't just, when you play on the team, even let's say you're Sikes, you play basketball. I touched the ball, I went out of bounds. I said, yo, it was my bad. It was me. From that point, Sikes would be like, yo, how can this guy tell the referee that it was him? We're supposed to win. So that's the mindset, especially when you're dealing with, you know, it's funny, I remember when I was in high school, the hall monitor used to be a former cop, and he said it like, yo, it's not a blue wall of silence, it's a red wall of silence. Because they just all know, like, you can't go against the team.
Well, I was sorry to cut you off. I was reading the other day, I can't remember his name, there was an officer, and the man pretty much, he got put with a different partner for the day or whatever the case may be. And that officer came through and he was dealing with man's ways. Like, I guess he bust somebody's head for no reason. Came back to the car and he came to the guy. He's like, yo, so what are we going to say happened in the report? So the man's like, what do you mean? He's like, what's the lie we're going to tell? So the guy's kind of like, yo, what is this guy talking? Like, he just bust somebody's head for no reason. Like, what is he talking about, the lie? So this guy went, he reported the next officer. It turns out they did the internal investigation. They came back to the man and told him, yo, pretty much he got in trouble. Like, yo, like, what are you dealing with? Like, we're giving you a warning kind of thing. So he's like, yo, what the hell? So he got switched onto that same guy's team, and the same guy was telling him, yo, we watch each other's backs kind of thing, right? So they went on to do the same thing. Ultimately, the guy ended up getting fired. So he didn't even quit. Like, he kept obviously like reporting what was going on to the higher ups, and it was like the higher ups were in on it too, right? Which makes sense. Like a player's playing dirty, the coach is gonna say, yo, true, say this guy playing dirty, it benefits us, so I'm gonna allow him. A player coming to complain about that guy to the coach is not gonna help.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy how it go, and it starts from the top, right? So if you're dealing with frontline guys, but their manager, like, you're telling them you can't be doing this, and they agree with you, but when they come into work and try to do the right thing, let's say, they're getting fired. Like, they lose their jobs, they can't sustain a household. You know what I
and
mean?
like Nikki said, two things can be true at once, right? So at the end of the day, the whole Black Lives Matters thing, which is mostly when we're talking about the direction for like law enforcement right now. That's what we're mainly talking about. We're not talking about anything else. But with that, there can be a systematic way of implementing change, which can be done, right? Black on black crime, now that's, to me, and just in my opinion, that is a whole mission, right? It's not something that's going to be easily changed. Because you're talking
that's
about
also
economic situation. Sorry?
It's also an internal mission.
It is an internal mission, but at the end of the day, like, okay, if you end up in the hood, right? You're living in the hood, you're in a situation where you don't essentially have much, right? So you have a couple different options. You can go to school, but if you're not living in a two-parent household, who's going to tell you that you should be in school when your mom's working a double or whatnot, right? So now the kid's on his own. The guidance counselor doesn't care about you because he's a piece of shit. And whenever the school calls in to the household, the kid's there before the mom's there, so he's erasing what's on the phone. So now he's on the block, he's chilling. He's like, yo, I need to make some money. I need to make some guap. I don't really have anything, right? So what does he turn to do? Exactly, right? So he might start moving work. He might start rolling around with the bad crowd, or he might just chill with people on occasion, right? Outside, and he gets drawn down by the cops. He catches a bogus charge, and now he can't even go to school, right?
His future's ruined, and now he starts living that life.
So it's like it's a huge commitment and it's like the more I think about it, the more it hurts my head because it just makes me sad, right? At the end of the day,
it feels defeating, but you can't have a defeated mindset though.
But
you know what it is too though? It's hard, and it's not that it's not like they're arresting only older men where like us as people past 25 or past 40 or past 50, if you get arrested, you have a mindset already to understand what the situation is. This is happening to children. So it's kind of, you can't tell a child, you know, like, yo, you got to be ready for this, because it doesn't process the same, you know? Like, I personally feel you're still, like, okay, when I was like 21, 22, and people used to tell me, yo, you know, yo, chill, you're still young, it's a bit like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? Like, you know, like, but when I got older, I'm like, oh shit, I still really did have a child's mindset.
And with all of that,
yeah, go.
No, I'm just saying with all of that, it's like we're working on us, right? You know how they want to talk about the quote unquote black on black crime? It's like we're working on us. We're doing the in-house work, but we need everything systematic to also be fair and just and lawful, so that when we heal in home and we step outside the home, it's like we're good out there too. We're able to actually succeed and excel and achieve our greatest potentials and be happy, because happy, healthy people don't wake up and kill people. Happy, healthy people don't wake up and just like choose a life of crime or violence or whatever the case may be. So it's like we're working on us. It's like so deep rooted. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of for us, right?
No, for sure.
We're working on us. We just need everything else to be fair and set to us so that we can do what we need to do and thrive.
No, for sure. Happy people, you know, we just wake up and go barbecue and chill. Right? So definitely, and I think I'm always down for a good time. So I think that is the reality of our definitely of our people. My only thing is that I've told somebody this, is that even it's an election year in the U.S., I don't expect much to come from it. So I think a lot of it is very politically motivated at the timing. Everybody, even the people that apparently are being funded, like there's so much. Hold on.
You have to be more clear, because you're just talking over that.
What?
You have to
about the people being funded? Because
you're talking about the election time and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's an election, so just the timing. It's not like Rodney King got beat up by the police in like when the early 90s, and it's still happening. It's not a new thing, but I also feel that the timing is there is an election. Like in a time of crisis, politicians always want to look good. So when Corona happened, you want to look good because you're worried about when you can reference this in your re-election, and
or you want your opposition to look bad.
Exactly, because they went against it, but you did this, and it saved the economy, or no, we went into a recession because you did this. So everybody's trying to make themselves look good. You have that portion of it, but on the other side of it is that I don't trust people that have disappointed me so many years. They've lied to my ancestors, they've lied to my grandparents, they've lied to my parents, myself, and they'll lie to my children. So part of it is, even with this whole, like, I don't know how much I can believe that will be done, because there's been so much disappointment. And you judge somebody based on their past. That's how, like, it's been shown that there's always been a shortfall, not a full commitment. Like, the fact that our prime minister can go on his knee and do that.
Oh, don't start with that guy with me.
He makes the rules. Like,
That's a whole different.
Listen, no rapper. I feel maybe Drake, but like, no rapper has a platform like the prime minister, who, when he makes a conference, everybody's listening. So for you to do this, it's like it's just like, that's why I said I'm not surprised. That's why I feel like it's so important for us not to also lose sight of our internal, that how we can come together economically. Like, the greatest thing that I've been seeing recently is people start saying, you know what, I'm going to start supporting my Black-owned hair stores, or my Black-owned restaurants, you know, like those things. And it shouldn't be something like, it should be Black-owned. It should be because it's actually a good place and I actually enjoy their service. Like, I'm not just supporting you because you're Black, but your services or your food or what you offer is amazing. And I feel like being Black is important as well, but I feel like it's amazing to see that, because the people outside have always disappointed me. As I said, like, as you said, the prime minister can go down on one knee, and he has power, like, and he has influence, and he has a stage, and he should never have, like, the idea of you waiting for this to happen for you before you speak is problematic, right? Because you are always in a position to make change, be proactive, right?
Yes, but of course he's in a position to make change. But also realize Justin Trudeau's the same one who did blackface. Okay.
Yeah.
He did blackface once. He did a half-ass apology. No, wait. He did blackface once.
And brownface. Sorry.
And then he did a half-ass apology, right? And then they asked, "Have you done this before, Mr. Trudeau? Is there any other time you've done this, Mr. Trudeau?" No, not my recollection. And then it came out again. There's some other blackface, right? So, like, at the end of the day, he does not rate you as a community. And, like, I don't want to be, what do you call it? Like, divisive, or like separate groups of people and whatever it may be. But for people of color to vote for him, right? I don't care about the party. At the end of the day, he's the leader. To vote for him and then expect him to make a change when he didn't rate you from the beginning makes zero sense to me. Zero.